Disappointed, of course, not just with the result, but the performance. Long week, and I thought the guys wore it in the way that they played. No lack of effort from the guys, as we always see, but a lack of cohesion, quality in the final third. And in the end, I would have to say that we got out of jail a little bit there with how the game ended. But as I say, it's been a tough week, and I guess we never know what these points are going to be worth come the end of the season. So I'm delighted that we actually got something.
Please, and then we have a question for Coach, if you don't be there.
What key lessons will this team take going into the next couple of road ones?
Well, the schedule for us was always going to be very challenging after Leagues Cup. You know, if you look at some of the teams we're going to run into, on paper, it may well have looked like this game tonight was going to be, you know, an opportunity to bag 3 points, given the league table and maybe the separation in points. But having looked at some good footage of Charlotte leading into this game, and I'd made it clear to the group, I think they'd lost 2 in 13. One of those games was in Miami, that we've seen Miami take care of plenty of teams. So they're a side that are developing, they're improving, they've added some real experience in midfield. We haven't run into them a bundle, but Arfield, who scored, has played at a fantastic level. And, you know, those additions to the group tend to create the sort of culture that you see out of Charlotte. They're hard-working, they're very well organised, Christian's got them well set up. And, you know, in the main, their hunger for points to get back in the playoff picture really put them in a position, I thought, earlier on in the game to possibly take advantage, which they didn't. And in actual fact, we probably had the better moments. And looking at the stats, you know, the expected goals from our own standpoint looks far more desirable than theirs. But if you were here watching the game, you probably wouldn't have looked at it in that fashion, because as the game wore on, I thought they got themselves in a stronger position. And, you know, I was hopeful that we might have kept a clean sheet and moved on. But for sure, they were, you know, dynamic, competitive, and when necessary, I thought they kept the ball very decently, and it took an awful lot of effort to keep and stay in the game.
Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, tonight Jacob seemed to kind of, you know, use his speed as usual, but couldn't seem to really piece it together when he had the ball in the final attacking third. Could you talk a little bit about, you know, his performance tonight? And just seemed like he couldn't really piece it all together.
Yeah, I can talk about him individually, but he's probably not the only one, right? As you look around the team, I think there are a number of guys that will go home tonight, as I said, at the end of a very tough week. It's always really difficult to work out what Wednesday's game had taken out of a lot of the guys, and travel, of course. But Jacob in particular, never ever short of that positive mindset and that explosive look to try and stretch out the back line and maybe offer us a little bit of a different dimension. But to your point, you know, there were 1 or 2 moments where maybe the connections, the choices, the pictures that were forming in his mind were probably just taking a millisecond too long. And their intensity and pressure normally ended up in a breakup of play or a breakdown of play. And you've also got to look at the very good job that the right back did on him. You know, he's an incredibly experienced guy. And I thought he played Jacob ever so well. And the difficulty, of course, is when you've got someone breathing down your neck constantly, there is a little bit more reliance on some controlled possession. Jacob's movements and timing can then start to come into the game. But, you know, there wasn't really a moment in the game, if I'm, you know, reflecting and digesting quickly what happened. Well, we even got those moments to, to time those runs and to maybe see some of the things we have done an awful lot here.
Coach, at the beginning of the season, you were fighting on the table, you were fighting that top four spot, and at some point you were even in the Supporter Shield race. Now it looks like you're fighting for maybe 7, 8 in that region. Are you worried about where you're going to end up on the table?
No, look, I think I've said before, it's all part of the process in any season. If I look at, 21 points to remain, there's still an awful lot to fight for. We have 4 of those games, I do believe, here, but we start the schedule again with 2 very tough away games. As far as what we need to be able to do, the challenge, I do believe, for us right now in our league form is to get back to, I think, what we saw in that 10-game unbeaten run, that purposeful, sharp, bright, confident nature that we actually saw an awful lot in Leagues Cup, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think it's a million miles away from where we need to be. Tonight's performance, for sure, was a long way off of where I would like the group to be and where the guys would like it to be. But if you look at the schedule that the group have had, if you look at the teams and the run-up to the performance tonight, it's been incredibly difficult for the players to endure and to maintain a high level of performance. So my big hope is we get some recovery, we get some time to work. We put this game certainly behind us, and we start to focus in again on some of the connections, some of the important areas of the team that are going to take us to what I believe to be a challenge for the mid or upper part of those playoffs. I think your 7th and 8th might be a little bit negative there. I do believe in the group an awful lot more than that. And I don't think, given the way that the results have gone, 2 points behind Atlanta with a game in hand. Yes, there are some teams in that top 4. Orlando, I believe, had a terrific result tonight. Columbus, likewise. So the challenge to get into the top 4 will be a difficult one. But I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be competing for 5 and 6, and definitely have in the forefront of our minds that if we can get ourselves on a good run, and there's no reason why we can't. Some tough teams for sure, but we're definitely capable enough here. Freshen up, put ourselves together in the break. No reason why we can't be challenging for higher spots than you mentioned.
Gary, obviously you mentioned that not only tonight but other nights after the Leagues Cup games that those many factors involving why the team is not playing the way it was playing before. But at least in my opinion, the brand of your team has always been yours and the transition game.
Yeah.
Which is not there anymore. Besides taking into account every single game by its own, how hard it has been to recover from that transition game, which is the brand, which probably will make a difference. Is it just tired legs? Is it just the individual performances?
I think you're hitting all the points. Yeah, it is. The team we played against tonight did a very good job against us. They had athletic players, so therefore it's not quite as straightforward as, okay, let's just work it in behind the back line. There needs to be a little bit more construction to pull players around and create those moments. And that wasn't possible. But I think if you look at the way our form has gone as we went into Leagues Cup, we've lost 2 games. We got beat here against Toluca and we lost in Atlanta. Some very, very tough teams in between and some really, really good performances. And even a defeat in the final was, of course, in penalties or on penalties. So I don't think, truly, I don't think we're a million miles away from where we want to be or need to be. Bit of sharpness may have been through the 3 games in a week for sure. Sam's had a problem with his knee. which I think, and I thought showed in maybe some of his movements that didn't look quite as bright. But I've no doubt in my mind that over time the relationship between Hany and Sam will mature and will grow. Lovely to see Randall back in the group tonight after, you know, a prolonged period out again. His progression has been good and made a difference for us, I thought, in some situations in the first half. But he's had a few little difficulties, as you well know himself, and it's been a case of getting him back into that world. I think the back line has stood up very, very well, other than the Atlanta game, of course. But the two guys, I think, have done a terrific job without Walker, who's a great influence on the team. So, look, I can go through numerous reasons why maybe we weren't just firing on all cylinders, but I think you yourself have really sort of ticked all those boxes, and we really know why not. And it's a matter of getting back on track and in the right groove now.
Gary, David Smith, Jim James out and seeing him, you 18 days until, your next game. What do you think are the keys to taking advantage of that period off, making the most of that? Is it more about rest, or more about, getting back to basics, staying back to things that have brought you successful in the season, or is it maybe both?
Well, I think you've only got to look back at the final. How long ago was that? 2 weeks ago? Okay. So 2 weeks ago, we played a final here against one of the informed team, and the quality of the performance and the overall picture that we all saw was a very high calibre. It was a very high calibre game. So that was 2 weeks ago. Not a huge amount has changed in 2 weeks. We've had 3 tough games. I certainly don't think it's a time for anyone to be panicking or getting too frustrated or down on themselves. But to your point, rest 100%. Straight away, the players need some recovery, and we have some guys in the group that need to physically regroup. But then there'll be some work that I hope enhances the Hany-Sam relationship. It gives us some more reinforcement of some of the areas that were great in the Miami game. That's what we're after.
Yeah, I think in the end, an important point for us. Of course, we wanted the 3 points, but how the game went, I think we can be happy with the point. It was not our best performance, so we take the point and get a little rest in the international break.
Please go ahead with questions.
What key lessons will this team take going into the next couple?
Say that again?
What lessons will this team take going into the next couple of games?
Yeah, we see that especially at home, we need to start dominating the games, and I think we have to work on that. It's a process. I think over a couple last games at home here, especially in the Leagues Cup, we did it pretty good, but we have to continue it that way. It's a process. We cannot let loose and just think it's a automatism. It will go better and better. We need to improve it, and we need to get now rest and then get back on track.
How the level of frustration inside the pitch, Hany, is kind of taking a token on you guys. I mean, because you seem to have a bad game in Atlanta. It seems like you pick up some, obviously, in Miami, and then tonight it kind of goes down again. How's that roller coaster inside the pitch for you?
Yeah, I think obviously the main goal for us, I think that's what we achieved the last 3 years. When we play at home, we want to win. That's our main target. And when you have a long period of time, 60, 70 minutes, and you're not controlling the games, of course there is frustration coming up. But I think we have to stay calm in these moments, and believe in ourselves and believe in the end, if it's 0-0 tight game, it's one chance what can decide the whole game. And if you win here 1-0, everyone is happy. So it's a very fine line. But like I also said, we have to improve the time when we have the ball. That's no secret.
Hany, you went through a period where you're not scoring at the same rate as you were earlier before Leagues Cup maybe, but you're still leading the Golden Boot race. How often are you looking at the other guys that are really close to you now, and are you kind of looking at them, because there's like 4 of them, you know, that are getting close?
Yeah, I think of course, you know, when you're leading the Golden Boot 8 games left, you wanna win it. You know, that's my goal. I'm not shying away to say that. But most important is also that we play good, that we bring our team, ourselves to the next level. That's even more important than just scoring goals. But also the fact that I have to score, I have to give assists to that our team wins. That's no secret. But also we need to improve as a team, and I think there's a fine balance that we improve as a team and me scoring goals.
Hany, this is the 3rd game, 7 games for you guys, coming off of, before that, coming off of run final of the Leagues Cup. I guess, what do you think were the biggest areas in which that heavy workload tonight?
Yeah, I think, man, I love playing games. You know, of course, training is important, and that's where you get better. There's no doubt about it. But we all want to play games, and I think I enjoy having 3 games in a week. You know, every 3 days to having a game. It's a blessing, I think, for us. But of course, the last couple months were intense. So I think the international break is good for all of us. Get a little rest, calm down the body, and then full focus for the last stretch.
Yeah, Hany, so you talked about rest, Gary talked about rest. Other than rest, what do you think this team can improve on? You know, the offense hasn't really scored a goal since the League Cup final. Now you scored tonight. What other than just rest can you improve on going into next week, which you have a week, 2.5 weeks?
I think it will be also important for me and Sam to work on our relationship, to finding each other more. You know, it's I think it's very important that, you know, when you have 2 offensive players, 1'9", 1'10", that they look for each other. You know, I think we're trying, but we can still improve. And he's here for months. You know, we have to get to know each other. We have to work on training, on these, like, what does he like? What does I like? You know, that's a thing. For example, with Randall, I know exactly what he likes when he has the ball. I don't even need to come towards the ball because I know he can look behind the fullback and he can find me in the space. So this is a relationship we have to build. It will be very important for us, for the whole club, and I think we will both benefit from it.
Nick, take us on.
Speaking about Sam and the chemistry you 2 are building, you know, in the Leagues Cup, Sam came in here and was scoring goals and you were assisting goals. Now there seems to be that little bit of a disconnect, and you've already alluded to, you know, building that throughout this long period of time between to the next game. What can you do to help, I guess, close that gap of that disconnect?
I wouldn't say disconnect. I think let's take the game against Atlanta away. That was a bad game from all of us. You know, it wouldn't be fair to say, hey, there was a disconnect in Atlanta. It was a completely bad game from all of us. Then in Miami, he didn't play. And then tonight, I think he played one good ball to me in the channel. I have a huge chance. The goalkeeper saves the ball pretty well. I think there is a connection, but we have to build on it. You know, that's not good enough if we have 1-2 situation the whole game. There has to be, like, constantly that we're looking for each other. But also, it's not only on us. I think it's important to get also the support from the players around us, because we want to get the ball in the last third. You know, like, the ball has to come first to the last third, right? Like, I cannot pick the ball up from the center back or from the goalkeeper. So I think that's completely, you know, like, where we have to get together as a team and finding the connection with Sam together.
One follow-up. So with the connection aspect of it, you know, does it involve you and Sam either going outside of the training facility and going at somebody's house to watch film? Does that help out as well? Is it something like that? Go out to lunch together? What could that be?
That's a good idea. Maybe I can invite him for lunch. But I think most important will be, like, on the training field. You know, like that. I know the coach is already planning that stuff. You know, like we have to try it on the training field. You know, running ways. When I come short, that he goes behind me. You know, like when I get the ball, maybe flick around the corner and he comes play 1-2 with me. That's stuff I think we have to play on or train on the playing ground. You know, it's having a good connection off the field, but it's even more important to train that on the field.
Thanks, Hany.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you.